What up, you lab rats? This is episode number 56, and today we're talking about 3 things you can consider, or you should consider, before buying an e-course. Stay tuned. Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Lab Rat Dailies. This is the in-between show of the main show with me and Kevin on Wednesday on the Getting Lab podcast. If the Getting Lab podcast had a baby, it would be the Lab Rat Dailies. All right, so every day has a theme. Today's theme is Throwback Thursday. So let's Throwback Thursday up a pic right here. I'm not sure if it's going to be embarrassing or what. Oh my gosh. My cousin just had a baby. I just threw up a Throwback Thursday picture, so just know that it was old, whatever. Anyway, let's get into today's episode. So today we're going to talk about e-courses, and there's a shit ton of e-courses out there, right? And it's great because it's a great way to learn. It's like going to college again, but for people who do what we do. And I've bought at least 3 e-courses in my time here on the net trying to figure this kind of thing out. And I would say that my experience has been up and down and all that stuff, but I'm not here to bag on e-courses or people that have courses or anything like that. That's not going to be anything like that. I just want people to consider a couple of things that I wish I had considered before I had spent the money to purchase these e-courses. Okay, so e-courses are really great when you are an absolute beginner, okay? And that by definition needs to be defined for you. And so that was kind of a big thing that I had to learn the hard way, was to figure out what does it really mean to be a beginner? Okay, because somebody else is making those levels up, and you kind of have to decide for yourself. And if you were super lost and you wanted to start blogging, you need to just start asking these types of specific questions, okay? So the first thing that I would consider before even purchasing any kind of course, no matter what price, okay? Or maybe if it was super cheap, then you maybe wouldn't mind. But a lot of times these courses are pretty much an investment, right? Okay, so the first thing that I would really try to kind of get my mind and wrap it around is to understand that guaranteed results at which these e-courses sell you on, it's not entirely true, and you need to be honest with yourself about that. Any kind of course, they may help you get there, but there are no guaranteed results. And so as long as you have that expectation as okay, I'm here at this level, I don't know jack, I'm gonna hire this person who had generated this e-course to help me get to here. And I realized that here may not absolutely be, people calling me off the phone, ringing off the phone, sales coming through the door. You just need to understand that and have that expectation to be at a healthy, moderate level. It's okay to dream big and to go, I'm going to take this course and I'm going to freaking rock at it and I'm going to take advantage of it. That's absolutely the best attitude to have when you go into an e-course, but I don't believe people are actually doing that. Okay, I believe that, and me included. Okay, I believe that when you're paying for an e-course, you're not really thinking that like at that level. Like, it is cool to be to say to yourself, I'm going to rock at this course and I'm going to do my best. But I don't believe that we're actually doing that. I think we're buying the e-course to get a shortcut to those results. And we're not really sitting down with the fact and the reality that it does take a lot of work to get to that point of success and whatever that kind of means to you. Also, too, to define what success is and to have a plan for yourself. And I think when we get started with an idea or we have a dream for ourselves, that it's just a dream, okay? And it's great to have a dream, and that's step 1, is to have that dream. But from that dream, you have to start defining all of the little things that it will take to get there. And part of that is a lot of hard work. And I just want to remind myself too, you guys out there, the Lab Rat community, that guaranteed results are only guaranteed if you are going to make those decisions and actions possible, whether you had a course or not, right? Whether you had a course or not, it's really up to you to make those and execute those actions that are gonna get you there, or at least move you in that direction. Because maybe you aren't gonna get there. Like, what if you decide, whoa, now that I'm into blogging and I have to like write consistently, I'm not down with that diggity, so I'm gonna change my mind. Like, it's really important that you understand, at least try to, in the beginning, when you are trying to get into something new and you're thinking that this e-course is just going to walk you through everything. And some courses may boast that, but you still have to be present to walk through those doors. Does that make sense? So there is no guaranteed results, and I just want to make that very, very clear. It's really up to you to guarantee action, right? You can guarantee action, and that may get you the results that you want, or it may get you something else, all right? But the only thing that you can guarantee is your own action, okay? Your own execution on the things that are being learned in that course. All right. Next thing that I would really ask myself and others to consider before buying an e-course is, can that money be used for something else? So a lot of courses out there, I was especially interested in the Foundations software course or something like that, like how to start a software company or something like that. I was super interested in that ways back, like 2 years ago, and it was very expensive. It's a very pretty steep investment. I'm thinking like $5,000 or something like that, something very expensive. And at the time, yes, I could afford it, but I began to think, like, what could I use that money for? And I want to invite you guys really to, sometimes I also feel that if you just dug a little deeper, if you just exercise your research muscle on the daily, a little bit at a time, you would still get to your expectation of learning about that sort of topic that you wanted to buy an e-course about on your own. Maybe you wouldn't get there as fast, so it kind of depends on how urgent your needs are for learning something, I guess. But I always think, like, what could this money be used for instead of this course? And can I exercise my research muscle just a bit more to get me to where I want to be? Okay, so I would invite you guys to exhaust your research muscle as much as you can before you go invest into premium e-courses. I would definitely say for premium e-courses. Maybe you don't have to do that much for more affordable e-courses, but most of the courses out there that are even worth your time are premium. They are an investment. Okay, so and also when you do the course thingy, you don't exercise your research muscle, and trying to find things out on your own, and that's a really good skill to have as well, because if you never learn how to research things, like me, I'm very bad at it, and I want a course to kind of just teach me. I never get to exercise that muscle, right? And so I feel like I'm doing myself a disservice in that case. And that's just, it's just offering you another perspective, okay? So I'm not saying that, like, there is an absolute benefit for just, and to saving time and maybe money too, by just hiring somebody to create this, e-course, and then you take it and then everything's taken care of for you. But it's kind of like being spoiled, right? If you have everything given to you, how are you going to really appreciate and sympathize and be compassionate towards your own goals? And I think that journey of screwing up, failing a little bit, breaking down, and finding your own way, there's a magnificent beauty in that, and you should take pride in doing it yourself. Unless you are doing things over and over again and maybe they're not working out for you, then that would be defined as insanity. So what I'm trying to say here, guys, is that, you utilize your own skills first and really milk your own skills. Trust yourself, right? I think sometimes we get afraid to, what does this button do? Like, we're too afraid to just color outside the lines. And that's a kind of fearful way of living. And I want you guys to be okay with that. Like it's a safe place. And if it's blogging or creating video, like, please do not be afraid to just hit record, to just hit publish. You can always hit delete. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, it's not a big deal. You're not rolling the dice of your life here. Okay. So it's okay to color outside the lines and really kind of dive in deep and utilize your own natural skills, talents, interests, and own, research muscle to kind of figure out where you want to take this topic that you're trying to learn about. Okay. So last thing, okay. Realize what are you paying for, like, underneath it all, because I just want to say that I paid a lot for a certain course, and it wasn't what I expected. Okay. It wasn't what I was expecting. And so that in and of itself is deflating, right? The course didn't do for me what I thought it would do. And that was either my own blindness to what I expected of myself and the course. But the bottom line is I was not satisfied. And that's because I didn't consider certain things before buying into this course. And I got caught up in a lot of things, and I didn't check myself. So I wrecked myself. Okay. And you know what? Money can always be earned. It's not a big deal about how much it cost. But it was a significant number. So I just expected something more. And so if in the end what you're paying for is perhaps only like a Facebook group, I mean, that didn't equate in my mind, right? So you have to kind of be clear with yourself and with what that course is about, and understand what you're really paying for. Like, really dig in deep when you're about to invest into an e-course that is premium that way. Because are you paying for community? Because you can make community. You just need to basically man up and start making friends with the right people, which is something that I told myself. I didn't have community. Nobody wanted to talk to me about podcasting in my network. So what did I do? I tried to reach out to whoever I could online and said, hey, my name is Megan. If anybody would love to talk about, creating video, I would love to meet up and we can chit chat and just kind of share ideas and mastermind, right? That was the first time I used the word mastermind. And I met somebody who I still mastermind with today, and I'm still very good friends with. And that led to another one, and that led to another one. And so if you're paying for community, there are ways to go around it instead of just paying for it. If you're paying for somebody to hold you through that process of whatever you want to learn, then make sure that there is an actual hand-holding process. It's not just, here's some worksheets, here's some pre-recorded videos that are out of date, here's some interviews that you have to listen to very carefully and dissect all of the information there. That's not really holding your hand. So make sure that when you're purchasing a course, that you know exactly what you're in it for, right? Like, I know that's kind of obvious, but I don't think we think about that, because when we go through the sales funnel of any kind of course, we're hyped up on all of the success. Oh, this person got this person got this. And, we get hyped up in that. And I just want to remind people that, it's cool to get hyped up. It's cool to get buzzed and inspired and to dream. However, dreams don't, if it doesn't translate into actual results for you, because you weren't clear about your expectations going in, then you could be left disappointed, or you spend a lot of money and then you didn't get what you want, right? And that's kind of the worst thing, is to be left disappointed. Another thing, are you just being a fangirl or a fanboy, right? Like, I remember back in the day, I would just buy anything that Tim Ferriss put out because I'm a fan girl. Like, I love it. I love anything he talks about, touches, whatever. I just want it because I'm a fan. And that's awesome. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, he earned it. He earned my fangirl-dom. You know what I mean? Like, he earned it. And that's super fine until I started to see that, you know, I couldn't really keep up with paying for all of this stuff. It's basically just stuff, which I didn't need more stuff. So, you know, I opted out of, you know, buying everything that a fangirl would buy. So, and that's fine too, but just understand that if you're just fangirling or fanboying into that eCourse, which I also did for David Siteman Garland's, super fangirl on that side as well. When I was first started, just realize, you know, like, I'm just a fan and I bought it because he made it, he or she made it. Okay. And, if you're really lost and that's why you're purchasing an e-course, that's perfectly a legitimate reason. However, I would invite you to just ask the right questions. Maybe you haven't asked the right questions of yourself. And so whenever I feel lost, I found that it's always best to go back to a place of helping, to a place of service. And a lot of other, you know, bloggers testify to this as well, is they go back to their roots and say, well, what can I do to help people? How can I help people? Instead of asking like, well, what am I passionate about? Because that's a kind of a tricky question. And it still leaves you kind of stuck. You're just like, well, I don't know. Ask yourself instead, how can I help people? How can I help people with the things I know how to do, right? And that always kind of gets me out of a rut when I feel stuck and lost, and I feel like a course would just, you know, hold my hand or give me a shortcut to that answer. And really, there are no shortcuts, guys, okay? So it takes a lot of work and honest perseverance to be successful at anything, really, in the long run, right? So that's what I have to say to you guys. That's what I have to offer to you guys today on this Throwback Thursday. 3 things to consider before you buy into an e-course. And again, I'm not ragging on e-courses, even the one that I bought that I think, you know, could be better, you know. My experience could have been better, but I could also argue that my heart wasn't into it because I was not focused. I was not clear about my expectations, right? So I just want you guys to be clear about your expectations when you're going into something like that, buying an expensive e-course. And that way, you know, you're not disappointed, right? Sucks to be disappointed because that could dip into your productivity, that could dip into your ultimate dream, that could dissuade you into this internet thing and all that stuff. And so I just want to realign. If you have been dismayed before, realign. Anyway, guys, that was today's episode here on Throwback Thursday. I hope you enjoyed it. Wasn't a rant at all. Not a rant. Just sharing. Okay. So that was today's episode here on the Lab Rat Dailies. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm loving the standing desk. How do you guys like it? How do you guys like it? So question for you guys. Okay. Have you bought an e-course? How did you feel about that e-course? And do you think it was worth it, or do you think you could have found your own way on your own and maybe could have saved that money for something else, fund something else like design or website or whatever? What do you guys think? I'd love to hear it in the comments, and I'll see you in there. So once again, my name is Megan, reminding you to get in the lab, and we'll see you next time on the Lab Rat Dailies. Peace out.